Hello everyone, welcome to Shifting Gears and right now I am driving the 2022 Hyundai Venue facelift. ये Hyundai Venue का 1 लीटर टर्बो पेट्रोल iMT वेरिएंट है. दिस इज द SXO ट्रिम. Hyundai Venue के साथ आपको एक नेचुरली एस्पिरेटेड पेट्रोल, टर्बो पेट्रोल और टर्बो डीजल ये इंजन ऑप्शंस मिल जाते हैं. Hyundai Venue is one of the most feature rich compact SUVs which your money can buy here in the Indian market. Hyundai के SUV लाइनअप में ये उनकी सबसे पॉपुलर SUV है and this is also a very important product for Hyundai globally. This is a car which is in very good demand in global markets. ये एक सब 4 मीटर कॉम्पैक्ट SUV है, आप इसे क्रॉसओवर भी कह सकते हो. And in this video we are going to talk about the driving dynamics and the overall experience from behind the wheel of this Hyundai Venue in 2022. हमने अलग वीडियो अपलोड किए हैं where we talk about the exterior design and also a separate video where we talk about the interior cabin and the quality and the features on the inside of this new updated compact SUV. सबसे पहले चलिए स्पेसिफिकेशंस की बात कर लेते हैं. Let's talk about the numbers. Hyundai Venue के साथ जो आपको 1.2 लीटर पेट्रोल इंजन मिलती है on the base variants, that one produces 83 PS of power at 6000 RPM and 113.8 Newton meters of torque at 4000 RPM. उस इंजन के साथ आपको सिर्फ एक 5-speed मैनुअल गियरबॉक्स का ऑप्शन मिलता है. There is no automatic option for that. If you buy the 1 liter turbo petrol engine, that uses a 998cc motor producing 120 PS of power at 6000 RPM and 172 Newton meters of torque between 1500 to 4000 RPM. इस इंजन के साथ आपको एक 6-speed iMT इंटेलिजेंट मैनुअल ट्रांसमिशन मिल जाता है और यू कैन बाय दी 7-speed DCT. 7-speed DCT गियरबॉक्स जो है वो अभी इस वेन्यू फेसलिफ्ट के लिए अपडेट किया गया है. इट हैज बीन हेवीली रिवर्क्ड. If you want a diesel option, you have a 1.5 liter turbo diesel motor producing 100 PS of power at 4000 RPM and 240 Newton meters of torque between 1500 to 2750 RPM. And also, even with this engine, you only get a 6-speed manual gearbox but no automatic gearbox option. Do note, the Kia Sonet, which is a sibling to the Hyundai Venue, उस गाड़ी के साथ आपको एक डीजल ऑटोमेटिक का ऑप्शन मिल जाता है. Hyundai Venue के साथ आपको ये ऑप्शन नहीं दिया गया है. माइलेज की अगर बात करें तो जो 1.2 लीटर पेट्रोल इंजन है वो आपको डिलीवर करने वाली है 17 kmpl. 1.5 लीटर टर्बो डीजल इंजन जो है that will deliver 22.7 kmpl and the 1 liter turbo petrol motor will deliver 18 kmpl with the iMT gearbox and a higher 18.3 kmpl of mileage with the DCT dual clutch automatic transmission. Automatic variant का mileage इसलिए ज़्यादा है because the Hyundai Venue now uses the 2nd gen DCT transmission. It is lighter and it has been tuned for better efficiency, but of course there is no compromise in the performance department, so it is still going to offer you an exciting drive. But we will talk about that engine and gearbox combination when we get to drive that variant. अभी चलिए सबसे पहले इस iMT ट्रांसमिशन को समझ लेते हैं. Let's talk about how this engine and gearbox performs. For that, I'm going to pull over to the shoulder and I'm going to come to a standstill. So the important bit which you have to notice is that with this iMT gearbox आपको क्लच इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है. There is no clutch. Your left foot can be rested on the dead pedal all the time. अगर आप इस टेक्नोलॉजी को नए हो, you will find yourself slamming the dead pedal quite a few times because it is just muscle memory that when you are shifting gears manually, you feel the need to press the clutch. So that is something that you will have to get used to. इसके अलावा आपको कुछ ज़्यादा अलग नहीं करना है. Simply slot the gear stick into the respective gear and just drive without troubling your left foot. अभी आप देख लीजिए, I can slot it in first gear or I can slot it in second gear. It is ideal. इस इंजन में से आपको इतना अच्छा टॉर्क मिलता है that even in second gear you can start driving and you can lift off from a standstill. But if you slot to third gear, आपको ये वार्निंग बीप सुनाई देगी. You can be in a higher gear, आपको ये वार्निंग बीप सुनाई देगी, which is going to tell you that you need to slot to the ideal gear, you need to slot to a lower gear so that your vehicle picks up pace in a linear fashion, in a progressive manner. Just check this out. Right now, if I am, say for example, in third gear, and if I come to a standstill, and if I don't shift gears, listen to this. ये वार्निंग बीप आपको फिर एक बार सुनाई देगी so that you can slot it in neutral, and then when you want to start driving you shift it in first or second. Ideally अगर आप एक incline पे हो और अगर गाड़ी में ज़्यादा लोड है, आप फर्स्ट गियर ही इस्तेमाल कीजिए, बिकॉज इन सेकेंड गियर स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम अ स्टैंड स्टिल तभी आपको थोड़ा इंजन में से हेजिटेशन महसूस हो सकता है. राइट नाउ आई एम इन फर्स्ट गियर. नो ड्राइविंग मोड्स इन दिस वेरिएंट. ड्राइविंग मोड्स आपको सिर्फ DCT ऑटोमेटिक गियरबॉक्स ऑप्शन के साथ मिलने वाले हैं. Here everything is up to you, so check this out. Lifting off from the brake pedal, it has crawl functionality. The Hyundai Venue 1 liter IMT is crawling at 7 to 8 kilometers per hour. When you slot it into second gear and when you start from a standstill, तभी भी आपको crawl functionality मिल जाती है, but it starts crawling a little slower because the IMT has to slip the clutch because you are not giving any assistance. And at this time when I am giving no throttle input, ये जो Hyundai Venue है, it is crawling at 15 kilometers per hour, and this is going to be very useful in bumper to bumper traffic जब आप इस गाड़ी का city commutes के लिए इस्तेमाल करने वाले हो. Now I am going to stop again. This time just listen to the engine. Okay, so let's talk about NVH. इतना इंजन का आवाज आपको कैबिन में सुनाई देगा. This is a 1 liter 3-cylinder motor. Doesn't sound too bad. It actually sounds nice and throaty, and when I'm at a standstill there is no vibration that I can notice on the rear view mirror, on the inside rear view mirror. Outside rear view mirror जो है वो भी ज़्यादा मूव नहीं हो रहा है. There is barely any movement. The gear stick is solid, and even the steering wheel, no vibration at all. Of course, when you grab onto the wheel, आपको वो 3-cylinder thrum, आपको 3-cylinder pulsation feel होगा. Right now, I'm going to sprint from a standstill, slotting it in first, in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. I don't have to press the clutch because this is an IMT gearbox, and this is reasonably responsive. An IMT gearbox is going to be much more smarter than an average Joe who doesn't know the ideal shift points and rev matching. So this is quite a fun gearbox if you want the convenience of an automatic by not troubling your left foot, but you want to take manual control over the engine and gearbox. I'm going to pull over one more time. I'm going to come to a standstill one more time and just listen to the engine and just see how this gearbox performs. Okay, so slotting it in first, in 3, 2, 1, a little slow off the line. In third gear, 120 kilometers per hour exceeded, 130 kilometers per hour breached. So third gear is quite tall. And by the way, when I am doing all of this, I have kept my right foot completely flat out. So मैं मेरा पैर जो है वो lift off नहीं कर रहा था when I was shifting gears. So if you are buying this IMT gearbox option, you can just slam that throttle pedal and make these gear changes, and everything will happen seamlessly. आपको झटके फील नहीं होंगे. Say for example, अगर आप कोई manual gearbox वाली गाड़ी चला रहे थे, and if you drive like that, you will hear the engine revving till the time you slip the clutch and match the revs and make that gear shift. Here everything is taken care of by the onboard computer, and this is reasonably fun and it is reasonably responsive too. गियर शिफ्ट की अगर बात करें तो जब आप सेडेट पेस पे गियर चेंजेस कर रहे हो, it feels very normal, it feels very organic, it doesn't feel odd at all. It is just that आपको इस चीज पे ध्यान देना है that आपको पैर का इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है. There is no clutch to be pressed. I found myself kicking that dead pedal quite a few times today morning when I started driving this vehicle, but now I am at peace and at ease. गियर चेंजेस करते समय आपको इस गाड़ी के फुल्ली डिजिटल इंस्ट्रूमेंट क्लस्टर पे गियर शिफ्ट प्रॉम्प्ट्स भी मिल जाएंगे. You get a green indicator, a colored indicator, which will tell you to upshift to the ideal gear, and because of that you will understand the gearing, you will understand the rev range of this Hyundai Venue much better, so that you can get the best of performance and also the best of mileage. लेकिन अगर आप इस Hyundai Venue को एक हायर गियर पे स्लो स्पीड पे चला देते हो, it will not tell you which gear to downshift to, but it will give you a prompt that you need to downshift, because it is only going to give you upshift prompts so that you make good progress, you make linear progress. Now, since I was talking about this gear shift indicator, let us understand the ideal shift points for this Hyundai Venue 1 liter iMT variant. So again, at a standstill, slotting it in first gear, releasing the brake, the car has started to crawl. जब मैं throttle input दे देता हूँ, I am getting an upshift prompt from first to second at 2000 RPM. Shifting from second to third, I am getting a prompt at 2000 RPM again. From third to fourth, upshift prompt is a little under 2000 RPM, this time close to 1900 RPM. And from fourth to fifth, upshift prompt was at 1800 RPM. And to upshift from fifth to sixth, the prompt was again at 1800 RPM. So this is a very relaxed state of tune to upshift. So अगर आप ये upshift pattern follow करोगे, आपको ये Hyundai Venue Turbo Petrol iMT काफी अच्छा माइलेज ऑफर करेगी. Talking about mileage, अगर आप इस गाड़ी को सिर्फ हाईवे पे चलाने वाले हो, it will easily deliver 17 to 19 kmpl with 2 people on board. In the morning today, when we were effortlessly cruising at 90 to 100 kmph, the mileage figure was in that ballpark. अगर आप इस गाड़ी को तेज चलाने वाले हो, out on the highway, you can expect somewhere between 13 to 15 kmpl, and combined the mileage that we can see today, that is 12 kmpl. This includes a lot of city driving inside Hyderabad city. अभी हम इस गाड़ी को outer ring road पे चला रहे हैं, and also we were idling this vehicle for close to 40 minutes. So that is the combined mileage figure. So 12 kmpl from a turbo petrol motor is quite respectable, and let me tell you, this is one of the most refined motors that you will find in this particular segment, and your in-cabin experience is fantastic. Very quickly again, just listen to the engine, alright? So I'm going to downshift to a lower gear, and I'm going to give it a full pedal to the metal. So listen to the engine. The engine revs till 6600 RPM, and then that is the rev limiter. 6600 is the rev limiter. But even at that red line, engine जो है ज़्यादा कोर्स सुनाई नहीं देती है. It doesn't sound thrashy, it actually sounds sporty and throaty. So अगर आप ये गाड़ी तेज चलाने वाले हो, ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है that the other passengers in your vehicle, they are going to feel uncomfortable because of the noise inside the cabin. So that also should keep you, the owner, the driver, happy inside this Hyundai Venue facelift. One important point which I want to mention is that bonnet के नीचे कोई sound deadening material भी नहीं है, and even without that, the sound insulation is brilliant inside the cabin of this vehicle. अभी मैं इस गाड़ी को cruise control पे सेट करने वाला हूँ. I am setting the cruise control at 90 kmph. I am in 6th gear, and right now the engine RPM is 2000. If I speed up a little, I am setting it at 100 kilometers per hour right now, and at this speed the engine RPM is 2200. So this is again a very relaxed state of tune. If I slow down and if I let the speed drop to 80 kilometers per hour, at this speed in 6th gear, the engine RPM is 1800. So between 1800 to 2200, this rev range is very easy. At this rev range आपकी engine जो है बिल्कुल भी stressed नहीं है, तो आपको काफ़ी बढ़िया माइलेज मिलते रहेगा. एंड 100 kmph इज़ अ गुड इनफ क्रूजिंग स्पीड. इससे ज़्यादा तेज़ शायद ही आप इंडियन सड़कों पे गाड़ी चला पाओगे, बिकॉज सबसे पहले तो रास्ते इतने ग्रेट नहीं हैं, एंड अदरवाइज यू आर गोइंग टू गेट रियली एक्सपेंसिव स्पीडिंग टिकट्स. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दिस IMT गियर बॉक्स. गियर स्टिक जो है वो शॉर्ट है, गियर थ्रोज जो हैं वो भी शॉर्ट हैं. एंड व्हेन आई एम मेकिंग दीज गियर चेंजेस, I did mention that I had set the cruise control at 80 kmph, right? Even when I am downshifting, cruise control जो है वो maintained है. मैं gear changes कर रहा हूँ, but this Hyundai Venue 1 liter IMT is maintaining the speed. So आपका cruise control जो है वो reset नहीं होगा, वो deactivate नहीं होगा. So if you think that you are approaching an incline, just downshift to a lower gear so that you are in the meat of the power band, so that your progress doesn't dull down. Not that you should care about it, because when the cruise control is set, the car will ensure that your progress stays there, but you can still play around with the gearbox if you like. When you are playing around with the gearbox, gear gates are very well defined. गियर स्टिक का फील भी काफ़ी बढ़िया है. इट डज फील नाइस एंड प्रीमियम. इट फिट्स इन योर हैंड क्वाइट वेल, एंड यू हैव दिस फॉर योर रिवर्स गियर. सो आपका जो रिवर्स गियर है, इट इज टू द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड ऑफ द फर्स्ट गियर. एंड टू डू एनीथिंग विद दिस गियर बॉक्स, नो क्लच ऑपरेशन. रिवर्स गियर एंगेज करने के लिए जस्ट लिफ्ट दिस लीवर एंड स्लॉट इट इनटू द रिवर्स गियर एंड यू आर गुड टू गो. ओवरऑल कैबिन फील की अगर बात करूं, तो एज अ ड्राइवर मैं अभी बैठा हूं एट द लोएस्ट सीट हाइट. सीट हाइट एडजस्टमेंट मैनुअल है, लेकिन सीट को आगे पीछे मूव करने के लिए और सीट बैक एंगल को सेट करने के लिए अभी आपको इलेक्ट्रिक फंक्शनैलिटी मिल रही है. आई डोंट नो व्हाई Hyundai हैज मेड दिस हाफ हार्टेड एफर्ट. सीट हाइट एडजस्टमेंट भी इलेक्ट्रिक हो जाती तो ये ज़्यादा बेहतर फीचर हो जाता, बट इट इज़ वॉट इट इज़. यू कांट रियली हेल्प इट. And also, you are not getting ventilated seats with this 2022 Hyundai Venue facelift. But what you get is a full digital speedometer cluster. Looks quite good. इसमें कलर्स भी चेंज होते हैं अगर आप ऑटोमेटिक गियरबॉक्स ऑप्शन खरीद लेते हो. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर ड्राइव मोड, इस डिस्प्ले का जो कलर थीम है वो चेंज हो जाएगा, एंड इट इज गोइंग टू कीप यू मोर एंगेज्ड. डिस्प्ले इज वेरी क्रिस्प. अभी काफ़ी धूप है यहाँ पे हैदराबाद में, बट I can read all the information over there very easily. बीच में आपको एक MID मिल जाती है, and you also have your navigation data displayed over there. So you don't have to take your eyes off the straight line to look at this display. Not that it is oddly placed, but you also have navigation over there, just in case your other occupants are using any other feature of this Hyundai Venue facelift, making use of this very good looking high definition touchscreen infotainment. At the lowest seat setting, I am getting a very good commanding view. मेरी height है 5 feet 8 inches. You can check it out. There is ample headroom left, and there is no real blind spot that I have noticed. I am driving the Venue after a very long time, but I was instantly at home as soon as I stepped inside and started driving this car. इस गाड़ी के साथ जो आपको क्रूज कंट्रोल दिया गया है, the buttons are very generically placed and it is very easy to operate as well. The next point to talk about is the steering wheel. इस गाड़ी के साथ आपको एक EPS यूनिट मिल जाता है, and it is very light and it is very effortless. आपको स्टीयरिंग व्हील को ऑपरेट करने के लिए बिल्कुल भी मेहनत करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Especially if you are buying this IMT variant, your in-cabin experience is going to be super duper comfortable, because the amount of effort required is bare minimum. After that, say for example, अगर आप कोई emergency maneuver कर लेते हो, and if you switch lanes really fast, check this out. The steering wheel gives you a good sense of where the wheels are pointed, so you can very safely have the car in your control. The steering wheel is reasonably responsive too. High speeds पे ये थोड़ा बहुत way up भी हो जाता है, so you will get that extra bit of confidence. It is not the most feedback rich, it is not the most dynamically rich, but for the family car buyer, it is more than sufficient. और घाट रोड्स पे भी जब आप इस गाड़ी को चला लोगे, आपको स्टीयरिंग व्हील पे से रीजनेबल फील मिल जाएगा, रीजनेबल फीडबैक मिल जाएगा. It is not going to make you feel nervous at all. It is just that you can't really go out, driving like a crazy guy and attacking corners, because सबसे पहले तो it is not really a sports car, it is a compact SUV, it is a tall vehicle, so there will be a little amount of body roll which you might notice at that time. But other than that, मुझे इस स्टीयरिंग व्हील पे से कोई भी complaints नहीं है. It has kept me happy, it has kept me comfortable. I have driven it for more than 100 kilometers and I am a very happy driver inside this Hyundai Venue facelift. One more time, check this out. If you give a sharp steering input, the car stays in your control, but there is some amount of body roll जो आप जरूर notice करोगे. But still, it is a very easy car to bring back in your control अगर रास्ते पे आपको कोई obstacle नजर आ जाता है all of a sudden. इसके बाद चलिए बात करते हैं इस गाड़ी के सस्पेंशन सेटअप के बारे में. Hyundai की ये Venue जो है, it rides on 16-inch wheels. You have a very generous contact patch tire which gives you fantastic grip at all times. Tire profile जो है वो भी comfort oriented है. They are not too low profile tires. Comfortable suspension setup, very compliant, and right now जब हम इस गाड़ी को हाईवे पे क्रूज करने के लिए चला रहे हैं, it is nice and flat. ज़्यादा वर्टिकल मूवमेंट नहीं है, ज़्यादा वॉफ्टीनेस नहीं है. इसके वजह से आप इस गाड़ी को ज़्यादा देर तक बिना थके चला पाओगे एंड यू विल बी वेरी वेरी हैप्पी इनसाइड द कैबिन ऑफ दिस कार. सस्पेंशन सेटअप पे एक स्लाइट फर्म एज ज़रूर है जो आप शहरों में इस गाड़ी को चलाते समय नोटिस करोगे. जब भी आप खराब से खराब रास्तों पे से चला लोगे तभी आपको थोड़ा बहुत वो फर्मनेस नज़र आएगा. लेकिन जब आप स्पीड पिकअप कर लेते हो, दिस Hyundai Venue drives in a very mature fashion and it is soaking up the undulations quite well too. So as a comfort oriented package, I think this is a definite 8 or 9 on 10. Of course, अगर आपको ज़्यादा softer ride quality offer की जाती, then people might complain that oh my god, it is just too soft and Hyundai cars are always too soft and they are wallowy. So understand what you ask for and then what you get, because the brand does listen to your feedback. And with this Hyundai Venue, I think Hyundai has done a fantastic job in terms of comfort and a sporty balance. The next point to talk about are the brakes. इस गाड़ी के साथ आपको all 4 disc brakes ये feature नहीं मिल रहा है. You get disc brakes only at the front end and the pedal feel is nice. Pedal feel काफ़ी progressive है और brake bite जो है वो भी ज़्यादा sharp नहीं है. तो ऐसा नहीं है that as soon as you tap the brake it is going to just nose dive too much and it is going to scare other road users. The stopping distance is also nice and safe and very predictable. तो आपको ये गाड़ी समझने के लिए काफ़ी आसान है. So even if this is your first car, you will be very easily accustomed to all the controls of this vehicle within few weeks of ownership. Now let's talk about the performance. Let's talk about how this engine performs when you want to drive fast, when you feel that need for speed. So right now I am driving this car at close to 70 kilometers per hour. I am in 4th gear. The gear shift indicator, the assistance, is suggesting me to upshift to 6th, but I am going to downshift straight to 2nd and I'm going to push this car, and the performance, the acceleration is really nice and it is exciting. And this Hyundai Venue does pick up pace quite quickly and briskly, and for a compact SUV this does feel like a fast car, and you can do serious triple digit speeds very easily in this vehicle. And right now when I am at higher triple digit speeds, flat ride quality, no movement even over those bridge gaps, over those connecting points. So this is definitely giving me good confidence. When I am changing lanes, no pitch and roll which is going to make me feel nervous, which is going to make you feel nervous. And I think it is a job well done in terms of, you know, the performance that you are getting from this motor. We already knew that ये जो 1 liter 3-cylinder motor है, it has enough punch, it has enough poke to, you know, keep you excited on those weekend drives. But even in 2022, this car still stays relevant, it still stays good enough. और अगर आपको एक punchy engine चाहिए, along with all the practicality that this, you know, format is offering you, I think you are getting the best of both worlds, comfort and, you know, performance. Just to throw some light on the performance aspect one more time, I am going to come to a standstill and we will sprint. We will drive pedal to the metal. So check this out, listen to the engine. Crossed 100. And the speed build-up is reasonable. After you cross 100 kilometers per hour, the speed build-up is not really all that fast. So 0 to 100 तो आप काफ़ी तेज़, काफ़ी आसानी से अचीव कर लोगे. But after that, the speed build-up takes a little time. But I'm not complaining about that, because where are you going to drive this fast here on the Indian streets? अब एक चीज़ जो मुझे हाईलाइट करनी है वो ये है that when you have that pedal kicked to the metal, when you are making these upshifts, ऐसा मत समझिए that this IMT is too slow. Now if you are a pro driver, maybe you can shift faster. But if you are an average Joe, if you consider yourself an average Joe from behind the wheel, and if you want the convenience of an IMT, you don't want to trouble your left foot, this gearbox is reasonably quick, it is reasonably responsive, and you know, you will not find that there is too much of a dull phase between those gear shifts. आपको ज़्यादा lull feel नहीं होगा. This is not as dumb as an AMT. This is actually much more smarter than an AMT, because it is you who is showing that smartness, isn't it? You are making those gear shifts, and you know, you have more control over the engine and gearbox. Now one feature I think that Hyundai shouldn't have skipped is drive modes. आपको automatic variant के साथ driving modes मिल रहे हैं, but not with this IMT. I wish that they were offered over here as well, so that customers, owners, drivers could have had that option to drive it more sensibly and, you know, save that extra bit of money by getting better mileage. So guys, that is it. That has been my experience with this 2022 Hyundai Venue facelift 1 liter turbo petrol IMT intelligent manual transmission. This is the first time that I have been driving it on this fast highway, on this outer ring road in Hyderabad, and let me tell you, as a highway performer too, this is not bad at all. People just judge going by the books. People just read the brochure and diss a particular product even without driving it. Don't be a keyboard warrior. Try it out, and you might be surprised that you might actually like this more than a DCT, because you get better control over the gearbox. And even I was surprised that this is not dull at all. ये बिल्कुल भी boring नहीं है. It is just that I had to get used to the fact that I don't have to press the clutch when I am making gear changes. So see you soon. Subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel if you haven't till now. Press the bell icon. अगर आपके इस गाड़ी के बारे में और कोई सवाल हैं, आप मुझे पूछ सकते हो. I will try my best to help you out. Do check out the other videos which we have uploaded for this Hyundai Venue facelift. Let us know what is your opinion. Always drive safe, and always guys, wear your seat belts.